I do keep up with her every now and then. I keep up with, their mom and all that. And then after that, like I didn't really have only had them two in my life until my junior year of high school. I met my friend Devin, which Caitlin knows because me and Devin would come to the basement a good bit. And like so, yeah, like so those are like the first. Those were like the only three that like I had for a while. And then like senior year, like I finally opened up and like I kind of got into a friend group, and then like as soon as we graduated it disappeared. Like I never really saw them again. I did see them. I did have a 10-year reunion last year, and like I kind of threw my own little mini reunion and I invited them and they all accepted it and came. And listen, I got to see them and it was good seeing them, but then kind of dissolved again. So yeah, like I've kind of been in that same situation to where like it is almost like if you're quiet, it almost means that like don't talk to him, like because maybe he doesn't want to be talked to. When really it's still the way around. It's like I want somebody to come to me. I'm just scared to go to you.
Felt
Yeah,
that.
and I was going to say, this is huge, like extroverted versus introverted, right? So a lot of people are saying like these are natural tendencies too, but it's actually really interesting the psychological perspective and like the studies they've been doing. A lot of it they focus on is like, are you do you have siblings? Do you have a lot of siblings? Have you been put in situations where you had to be more extroverted, where you had to put yourself out there and introduce yourself and make more friends? Or were you more like involved with your family and you didn't need to necessarily be put out in that situation? So a big struggle point for me was also like you guys. So like high school, middle school, that was the point where I will say I was lacking the self-confidence, where I haven't built up my self-confidence yet. So it was a bit of a struggle, but I also knew that I wanted to put myself out there. So really, I will say probably my junior and my senior year, that's when I was finally able to make sure I was showing my personality, have confidence in myself, making different types of friends and different type of friend groups, like getting and gaining their perspective. And then I was able to continue that through university. And then you start gaining this title of like, wow, you're an extrovert. You put yourself out there, people just naturally gravitate towards you. But it's like constantly pushing yourself to be that way and to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people you want to be like. So that was something I really had to take a step back and evaluate, as well as I was transitioning from university to like my full career path, was like, what type of people do I want to be surrounded by and supported by? Because a lot of people were fun to hang out with, but were they my real friend and were they there to constantly support me when I needed them? That was a question I went through on the inverse end as well.
Yeah, no, so it's definitely I know you mentioned about like how like so you may have a somebody may have a big family and then like they almost have no reason to like have friends in a way. And I kind of was like that, like because I have 10 siblings, so like of course I grew up in a big household. And like I said, definitely had my brothers and sisters as my friends. So in a way, like I said, it was like that. But then of course once you go out into school, like I did have a brother that was a grade above me. And then like I did have a little sister that was like three grades below me. All right. Pardon the interruption. As I had a little bit of technical difficulties, and was apologize for that. So I think we're going to try to continue back into the first question. I'm just going to ask it again, just in case if the first part of this episode didn't record. But yeah, as I was asking if we can all share moments or a moment where we felt isolated or outcasted. And I think I was talking at one point about like being extroverted, and I mean, no, introverted. And but I was extroverted around my family, of course, because I had such a big family. So like I said there, but yeah, so once I got into school, like I said, I did have a brother a grade above me. So like I did have him at times, but of course we were in different grades, that meant different classes. So so of course there were times where I had loneliness. That's definitely through high school. But what were y'all talking about while I was gone?
Um,
Yeah. So I'll
Actually,
let Caitlin take it away because she was giving me some really in-depth good like information about what she went through and like the differences between them versus now too.
I was just telling her that I have a big family too, but not in the same sense as you. Like I have one sister. I couldn't have handled any other. I don't think my parents could have handled any more of us either. We were a little crazy, but my great grandmother, who is still alive, that's actually where I'm headed. She had four children, and then all of her children had multiple children, and two of her children ended up divorced and remarried, and so like their new spouses had kids, and so like, we just have a huge extended family on my mom's side, and so like we're not like when we gather at our house, like there'll be certain people that's in the kitchen, certain people that's in the living room, certain people that's in the den and the dining room, and like everybody else just kind of mingles through. Like, we all kind of mingle through. Like, Aunt Lynn might be in this room for a little bit, and then she might go to this room for a little bit. Like, we just kind of mingle with each other. But I was always extroverted growing up. I didn't have a lot of close friends, but like I struggled with ADHD and I wasn't diagnosed until recently. My dad's a teacher and he saw the way kids were on medicine and he didn't want to do that to me. So they handled it in other ways. But because of the ADHD, I was a little bit more out there, I guess. I was always more outspoken. The introvertedness kind of came as I've gotten older. And, when you get pushed down and stifled down so much, and when you get told so much that you're just too much for people, um, it kind of makes you pull back a little bit. You don't offer yourself up as easy as you used to. And so that's where my introverted side comes out. But when I'm one on one with somebody, I'm not an introvert at all. I'm very extroverted when it's just me and someone else. But you put me in a group and I'm me, myself, and Jesus right over here in the corner, and I'll just listen to y'all.
But see, that feeds back to like what we were talking about too, the self-confidence. Like for so many people to try and say that to you just because they couldn't handle what you were saying or they couldn't handle your personality, that's not on them. If they think you're too much or I'm too much, that's on them for not being able to handle us or our personality. And that makes me so sad too, because we're even now, we're in this young age, like our constant experiences and what we go through and the people we surround ourselves with constantly affect how we react and like how we put ourselves out there and what our impression is to people. And that's not right when we're surrounded by what we think are the wrong people who are steering us in the wrong direction. Like
Yeah.
just by having this conversation, and I know we just met today, Caitlin, but you seem like a wonderful person. I would love to continue talking and keeping up and keeping forth and seeing your personality. And I know 10 other people in a room would love to hear that as well. It's just making sure we're making those right connections and staying with those people who are the people we want to connect with.
Yeah, that's what, and before the internet kind of messed up, that's what I was talking about, like my coworkers. Like there's a couple coworkers that just can't handle me. And like I've tried being on medication for it, and like I am for school just to help me push through college because school is a struggle for me. But um I just have a couple coworkers that, if I'm not, and they'll even ask me, have you had your medicine today? And I like, I'll tell them, no, I'm not taking my medicine just to make you feel better. Like, the pharmacist that I work with, her name's Amanda. She's one of my best friends. And she saw me before. She was like, I don't like you on medicine. Like, I know it helps you, but she's like, you're just not Caitlin on medicine. And I'm like, thank you for that. Because this person over here just don't like me when I'm not on it. So, but me on medicine is not who I am. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate both of you sharing your like your stories as far as like what you went through with loneliness and being isolated, because maybe both of y'all initially, I definitely would have never thought that like either of y'all would have had these these struggles, just because like with Caitlin, I didn't get a handshake, I got a hug. It's like she's like, I'm Caitlin, it's nice to meet you. And that's what we always did every time we see each other. She's like, you're like, hey, and give me a big old hug.
Yeah.
So, and then like definitely with Deanna, like I said, I felt like there was no like, like don't talk to me. Like I want to keep to myself. It was definitely a very friendly vibe, a good vibe I got from Liza, you and from your friend Veronica that came on. So in case if you're watching Veronica, hey, that's good. Uh, to Liza connect with you while I was in Ireland. So hopefully you're watching this. But Liza, yeah, I definitely appreciate both of you sharing with me, these stories and what y'all went through also in middle school.